Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the importance of sports in managing stress. This is from the lesson 2 of your module for quarter 3. Our objectives for today, so at the end of our session, you should be able to first identify the types of stress and discuss the benefits of sports in daily life. So let us first have the managing stress through sports. Is there a positive or negative stress? So, what is the definition of stress? So, stress is your body's reaction to challenge or demand. The imbalance between the demand from the environment and the person's ability to cope can trigger feeling anxiety. Some responses like being irritated, frightened, or anxious can cause headache or stomach ache. Use stress, positive reaction to stress to overcome a challenge, and the distress result from being bad and we react negative. So we have here the types of stress. Negative stress, it is a contributory factor for minor conditions such as headaches, digestive problems, skin complaints, insomnia, and ulcers. So excessive, prolonged, and unrelieved stress can have harmful effect on mental, physical, and spiritual health. Okay, so what about the positive stress or eustress? Stress can have a positive impact, spurring motivation and awareness, providing the stimulation to cope with challenging situations. It provides a sense of urgency and alertness needed for survival when facing threatening situations. Positive stress, as against distress, is desirable for efficient functioning. Okay, now let's move on to another type of stress. Another type of stress is acute stress. This deals with pressure of the near future or dealing with the very recent past. Activities like running or exercising on a treadmill is an acute stressor. So some experiences like riding a roller coaster is an acute stress but may be accelerating. So since it is a short term, it does not have enough time to do the damage like long-term stress. The next The next type of stress is the chronic stress. This is a long term stress having serious health consequences, leading to memory loss, decreased drive for eating, loss of concentration, and etc. So, women can take long term stress better than men, showing the same maladaptive changes. Men cope with short term stress better. Such stress can be caused due to, say, loss of promotion, death of loved one, and etc. So, what causes stress? Stressor, an event or situation that causes stressful situations which are seen as risk to the well-being person. So, meron tayong tinatawag na stressor. It is an event or situation that causes stressful situations which are seen as risk to the well-being person. So, ano yung mga stressor natin? So, we have here the family relationships, school, peer groups or friends, discrimination, injury, sickness, fatigue, or any major changes. So those are the stressor. So those cause the stressful situations in our life. So which of this common reaction do you experience during stressful situations? So we have here four columns. The first column is we have the physical signs. In the second column, we have emotional signs. The third is behavioral signs, and the fourth is psychological signs. So, which of these common reactions do you experience during stressful situations? For the physical signs, in the first column from our table, we have the muscle tension. So, do you experience muscle tension during stressful situations? So, that is physical signs. Headache, pounding heart, shortness of breath. And then we have increased sweating, dry mouth, skin rash, grinding teeth, or nail biting. So those are under the physical signs during the stressful situations. In the next column, we have the emotional signs. We have anger or irritability, impatience, nervousness, forgetfulness, and inability to concentrate, negative thinking, excessive worrying, loss of interest, self criticism, frequent crying. So, this under the emotional signs. For the behavioral signs, we have loss of appetite, then we have the overeating, drug abuse, so sleep problems, meron din dito under the behavioral signs, and the restlessness, hurrying and talking too fast, criticizing others, reckless behavior, fidgeting. So those are under the behavioral signs. Now for this psychological signs, we have first, constantly irritable with other people. Next, feeling of being a failure. Then we also have difficulty in making decisions. And then another one, loss of interest in other people. And the last is having a hard time to concentrate. So those are the common reactions that you experience during a stressful situation. So which of these common reactions do you experience during the stressful situations? Now we are done with the definition of stress and the types of stress and also the common reactions that you experience during a stressful situations. Now let's move on to how can stress be managed through sports. So stress is inevitable and eliminating it entirely from one's life is impossible. Stress can be managed through physical activity. So what are the benefits of sports in daily life? First is it is a stress buster. A healthy mind in a healthy body might be a cliched adage, but it is also because it is true. It is no surprise that since most sports usually involve exercise, so the sports is a stress buster. Next is health. Regularly indulging in sports helps in keeping the immune system strong and hence helps in preventing any kind of disease from occurring. It also increases the appetite of the person. So, sports is also good for health. Next, we also have the self confidence. So, when something is improving your health, making you physically fitter, earning your respect among people, and generally making you feel better about yourself, so it is safe to say that such a thing does a whole world. So, another benefits of sports, we have self confidence. Next is we have the decision making. In sports, a person must be make quick decisions depending upon the situation that he is in. Thus, a person who is involved in sports is able to make wise and quick decisions in other areas of life as well. Next is teamwork. Many popular sports like cricket, basketball, volleyball, soccer, hockey, etc., are played in teams. So this inculcates values and skills like leadership, communication, and sacrifice. So not only does this benefit the person, but also helps in developing a better teamwork. Next is build character. All sports have an outcome. So one entity wins and the other loses. Winning and losing is a part of life, so sports inculcates this lesson in people. Next is source of entertainment. Entertainment is a form of activity that holds the attention and interest of the audience or gives pleasure and delight. So, those are the benefits of sports in daily life. Number one, stress buster. Number two, health. Number three, self confidence. Number four, decision making. Number five, teamwork. Number six, it builds character. And number seven, the source of entertainment. The mental benefits of sports. So, what are the mental benefits of sports? Number one, sport improves your mood. So, you have to get involved in physical activity like playing your favorite sport can help to improve your mood. So, aside this, sport provides social benefits by allowing you to connect with teammates and friends in a recreational setting. Next is sports improves your concentration. Sharp thinking, learning, and using good judgments are benefits of a regular physical activity. The ability to concentrate is the key for an athlete striving to reach peak performance. Next is sport reduces stress and depression. So when you are physically active, your mind is distracted from daily stress. This can help to avoid negative thoughts. So exercise reduces the levels of stress hormones in your body. So at the same time, it stimulates production of endorphins. Next, we have sport improves sleep habits. Sport and other forms of physical activity improve our sleep. So it is this by helping you fall asleep faster and deepening your sleep. Better sleeping can improve your mood. So do not worry, it is not too late to engage in sports because sports is for everybody and it does not limit the age of a person. So anyone can do sports. Next, we have sport helps you maintain a healthy weight. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, recommends sports participation as a healthy way to maintain weight. Staying within recommended weight range reduces the likelihood of developing diabetes, high cholesterol, and hypertension. So, sports really helps us to maintain the healthy weight. So, we need to exercise more to have a healthy weight. Sports boost your self confidence. The regular exercise that comes with playing sport can help boost your self confidence or your confidence and improve your self esteem. Through sports, we develop our skills, pride, as well as your self image will improve. Next, we have sport has been linked to leadership traits. So there are many different things that can be seen as example and elements of successful leadership. Some of the key elements associated with being a successful leader for a coach is building a positive relationship with the athletes or students, challenging the athletes or supporting and encouraging them and driving them for results. Next, the benefits for young children. So, sport can benefit children and adults in different ways. So, the biggest difference is that when children start participating in sports at a young age, they are far more likely to stay active as they grow older. So, habang mas bata, mas maganda na mag-engage tayo sa sports. Now, let us review what are the benefits of sports in daily life. Number one is the stress buster. Number two, health. Three, self confidence. 4. Decision making. 5. Teamwork. 6. Build character. 7. Source of entertainment. So that's why we considered sport as a stress reliever. So because there are so many benefits that we can get from doing sports or engaging ourselves in different physical activity. For the mental benefits of sports, we also have first or number one, sport improves your mood. Number two, sport improves your concentration. Number three, sport reduces stress and depression. Number four, sport improves sleep habits. Number five, sport helps you maintain a healthy weight. Number six, sports boost your self confidence. Number seven, sport has been linked to leadership traits. And there are also benefits for young children. Now let's move on to your activity sheets, the learning activity sheets. So you're going to do the activity 3, which is the stress signals. So the direction, look at the warning signs of stress listed below. So write down all the warning signs that apply to you. Provide a separate sheet for the answer. So we have three columns here: physical, emotional, and behavioral. So for physical, we have headaches, stomach aches, dizziness, back pain, neck stiffness, ulcer sores on mouth, jaw pains, weight loss, weight gain, twitches, eyelids, and face, weakness, nausea, indigestion, excessive sleeping, overeating, loss of appetite, inability to sleep, skin problems, constant fatigue, cold hands or feet, excessive sweating, chest pains, high blood pressure, rapid or difficult breathing. So those are under the physical. Next column, we have the emotional. So under the emotional, we have mood changes, lack of concentration, nightmares, panic attack, anxiety, anger, irritability, crying, thoughts of suicide, depression, confusion, feeling of helplessness. Then we have restlessness, racing thoughts, aggressiveness. Again, we have restlessness, racing thoughts, aggressiveness. So those are under the emotional. Next is behavioral. So warning sign of stress. So under behavioral, we have smoking, nail biting, tapping, pulling hair, grinding hair, use of alcohol, use of medication, compulsive dieting, hair chewing, nervous laughter, pacing, lateness, putting things off, not caring about physical appearance, compulsive overeating. So we have this warning signs listed below. So what are you going to do is to write down all the warning signs that apply to you. So you can use a separate sheet of paper for your answer. Then we have the follow-up questions. Number one, how much stress do you think you are currently under? So you have to answer this number one question. How much stress do you think you are currently under? Number two, what are some ways that you usually do to remove or reduce the stress that cause you physical, emotional, or behavioral difficulties? Okay, now let's proceed to activity number four, the self-reflection. So cite at least 5 examples of stressful situation that you have already experienced or encountered in your life. So then state how to deal or manage your stress in the situation. So write your answer in the table given below. So the table has 2 columns. First column, we have the stressful situations. So you have to list down at least 5 examples of the stress of at least 5 example of a stressful situation. Then in the second column, you have the strategy in coping stress. So what are the strategies that you apply in coping stress? Next, you have to write, I have learned that stress management is about. So what do you think is stress management all about? Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have learned something for today's lesson. So we are now done with our quarter 3 module 1 for our physical education. The title of this module is the role of physical activity assessment in managing one's stress. Thank you so much and have a good day. compulsive overeating. So we have this warning signs listed below. So what are you going to do is to write down or all what are you going to do is to write down all the warning signs that apply to you. So you can use a separate sheet of paper for your answer. So you can use a separate sheet of so you can use a separate so you can use a separate sheet of paper for your answer. Okay, next. Then we have the follow-up questions. Number 1, how much stress do you think you are currently under? So how much stress yung so you have to answer this. Number 1 question, how much stress how much stress so you have to answer this number 1 question. How much stress do you think you are currently under? So you have to answer this questions. So you have to answer these questions. Number 1, how much stress do you think you are currently under? The number 2, number 2, what are some ways that you usually remove or reduce the stress that cause you physical, emotional, or behavioral difficulties? God, ang ganding eh. Han, gawad tumid ng kanding. Gawad tumid ng kanding. What are some ways that you usually remove? Number 2, what are some ways that you usually remove or reduce the stress? Number 2, what are some ways that you usually remove or reduce the stress that cause you physical, emotional, or behavioral difficulties? What are some ways that you do? What are some ways that you usually remove? Now let us review what you have learned for today. Okay, now let's proceed to activity number 4, the self-reflection. So cite at least 5 examples of stressful situation that you have already experienced or encountered in your life. So then state how to deal or manage your stress in the situation. So write your answer in the table given below. So the table has 2 columns. The first column, we have the stressful situation. First column, we have the stressful situations. So you have to list down at least 5 examples of the stress of at least 5 example of a stressful situation. Then in the second column, you have the strategy in coping stress. So what are the strategies that you apply in coping stress? Next, you have to write, I have learned that stress management is about. So what do you think is stress management all about? Now for your performance task, rate your skill after wala na ni. Okay, here we go. Now for your additional activity, what are you going to do is to choose any sports that you are played before. Do your own creative dance routine that shows at least Do your own creative dance routine that shows at least 5 basic skills in sports. So the dance is accompanied by music, of course. So your score will be graded based on the rubric that's shown on the table below. So you can use the TikTok for this activity. So before you do an activity, you need to perform warm-up exercises. This is very important. Before doing any physical activity, you must have to warm up yourself first. So to prevent injury and muscle pain. So ask the assistance of the members of the family to guide you before you do the activity. Okay, so the criteria. So we have for poor, you have 2 points. Fair or below average points, 4 points. Fair or below average, that is 2 points. Good average, good, good average, 6 points. Then above average, we have 8 points, and the outstanding for 10 points. Okay, so what are the criteria? Number one, creativity, preparedness, number two, enthusiasm, number three, number four, member participation, and number five, overall performance. So you can ask a member of your family to join with you for this activity. So you are going to make a TikTok dance, and you can choose any sports that you are played before and do your own creative dance routine. Okay, at least five basic skills in sports. So that dance is accompanied by music. So the dance is accompanied by music, and your score will be graded based on the rubric that's shown on the table below. So you have here criteria number one, creativity, preparedness number two, enthusiasm number three, number four, member participation, and number five, overall performance. So you have for poor performance, you have 2 points. Fair or below average, that is 4 points. Good or average, that is 6 points. Above average, that is 8 points. And for the outstanding, you will get 10 points. So all in all, this is 50 points. Shh, ayaw ka mo magsaba na. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have learned today. Thank you. Ayaw lagi pag make noise. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have learned something for today's lesson. So we are now done with our quarter 3 module 1 for our physical education. The title of this module is the rule of physical activity assessment in managing one's stress. Thank you so much and have a good day.